oppose the women's movement, very much so, because it's women who are victims of conflict. And we have not really looked at the positive role that women can play in conflict situations. And it is now emerging in Africa, in different parts. Many networks are emerging of women and survivors, women survivors, who are saying no to conflict situations and demand a right for action, for networking amongst themselves. And this is another area that needs to be explored. Communication diplomacy, that is the role of the media, is critical because, and we have not yet developed a way of mobilizing the media for conflict prevention and conflict resolution. In the Rwanda case, for example, the genocide, although we saw the pictures, we were never given an explanation that in fact this was a genocide. What we were shown was the typical thing of the media, the normal tribal wars amongst Africans between Hutus and Tutsis, or between the Sinhalese or the Tamils, without trying to explain to the population that these are not ethnic conflicts. These are deliberate, planned massacres which were going on. And during the Rwandan situation, the media was not there. Most of the media was in South Africa, looking at the election of Nelson Mandela. And very few people in the media were in Kigali at the time. And therefore, the media is a very powerful source today. The CNN factor is discussed, and often it is the media which is the source of conflict. Like again in Rwanda, where the radio Milcolin was repeating day in and day out messages through the radio to the population to kill the Tutsi population. And nobody dared to jam the radio, which wouldn't have been very difficult, or to stop the radio. And the radio continued to send hate messages to the population. And if that is so, this potential exists in any part of the world. And today, even in that part of the world, there is still a lot of pirate hate radios, which are developing hate campaigns against the other side. And we need, therefore, to think of ways in which the media can be used positively. I will not go into a large amount of the other aspects of multi-track diplomacy, but to say that it is by creating a global coalition of forces which involves the United Nations, states, and citizens, that it is possible to build the kind of coalitions for prevention and for conflict resolution. And that we are beginning now to see that through deliberate design and action, that people can share a common action plan which can lead towards prevention and resolution. And I'm going to take some case studies from International Alert's own work to demonstrate some of the ways in which this can be done. Let us take, in terms of two-track diplomacy, a case like Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone has been a country at war with itself for the last 5 years. They have about 1 million refugees. The population is in a terrible state of insecurity. There is a military regime in power and a major armed group called the RUF, which is waging a war against the military regime, and the war is extremely brutal. Many civilian casualties. The United Nations is there. You have Mr. Dinka, who is a representative of the United Nations, who stays in Freetown and occasionally sends a radio message asking for the rebels to come and talk to him in the capital of the military regime. And he's been doing that for the last 2 years. And of course, the RUF doesn't come to Freetown. The OAU, which is the intergovernmental agency, has been requested by the states of Africa to intervene in the Sierra Leone conflict. But it's unable to do so because the guerrilla and the war council of the RUF resides about 600 miles within the country.